It's official, like a referee with a whistle. So like and share this episode. We back at it again, baby. Yes, sir. We're gonna talk that street talk, a lifestyle of the poor, dangerous. We're gonna talk about something that you never heard before, something that you probably never had to experience. Hopefully, this never happened to you, but it almost happened to me. So we're gonna talk about it. Something that if you're gonna be out here partying, hanging around with women, or hanging around with a lot of people, just in general, there's certain things you have to be aware of. There's like another world that exists that almost nobody talks about. And if it's ever happened to somebody that you know or I know, they probably will never talk about it because they'll be too embarrassed to talk about it. Because in life, there's people that get jammed up. That's just life. Some people get jammed up. Some people find themselves in tough situations, or they find themselves in situations where maybe they were naive, just didn't know, and somebody took advantage of them. That happens a lot too. Some people get taken advantage of by men and women because they were naive. Some people were naive. Maybe they were gullible. I knew growing up, when I left my parents' house, at certain times, I was naive. I was naive about certain things. I think one of the main things I was naive about is I couldn't believe that people would lie like that about certain things. I couldn't believe people would lie about certain things like they do. I would have a hard time wrapping my mind around that. I'm like, why would they lie about some shit like that? I didn't even ask. Damn. I mean, shit. He ain't had to lie like that. She didn't have to lie like that. That's like the biggest thing. I'm like, damn, this son of a bitch tried to hide that they had kids? Like, damn, why would you lie to somebody that you don't got no kids and you got one or two? What type of shit is that? I mean, what? I mean, they didn't think I would find out. Stuff like that. I don't understand shit like that. I'm like, damn. I mean, if you're a drunk or alcoholic or something like that, it's one thing, but and you're trying to hide, but if you're trying to hide your kids, that's some weirdo shit. But you gotta watch the company that you keep out here. I know my parents used to always tell me that when I was growing up. I didn't really understand what that meant. But a lot of things come along with that. If you surround yourself around the wrong people, you could find yourself in a bad position. You could find yourself in a jam, into something that you can't get out. This is how a lot of people get into trouble. And sometimes you can end up in jail or unalive in certain situations. I remember last year, I met a guy. You know, he meet people online all the time. He kept telling me that on all these apps, whether it's Plenty of Fish, Match.com, Bumble, Tinder, he said there's starting to be more and more females on these apps talking about how they have open marriages, open relationships, and stuff like that. And I was telling him, bro, that's a red flag. I know it sounds sexy that somebody in an open relationship and they want a side dude or boyfriend on the side along with the husband. I know that sounds, and y'all might have a threesome one day. I know that sounds sexy. That sounds exciting, right? But I was telling him, bro, that's a red flag. Bro, leave that shit alone, bro. That can go somewhere that you probably wouldn't imagine. I don't know what's worse, being a trick or getting involved with somebody that's quote unquote in a open relationship. That can go somewhere you probably wouldn't even think of. I said you could easily become a target, a mark, like they say on the West Coast. You could be a mark. Meaning that this woman could get to know you. You might be thinking she likes you. And she's going home telling her man, her husband, all about you, how the date went and everything. And he's listening to everything she's saying. He's taking notes. He said, oh, this guy got a little money, huh? Oh, okay. And you could easily become a target. This happens a lot, especially if you live in cities like New York, LA, Chicago, Houston, Atlanta, Miami. And you never hear about it. You know why? Because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to know that you got robbed, set up by a girl that claimed she was married to some dude. Turns out they weren't married at all. But she claimed she was married to some dude. They're in an open relationship. And y'all were quote, quote, dating for 3 months, 6 months, even a year. And y'all were having a good old time. one good afternoon. And somebody came in, you got set up to get robbed. Point blank range. Some dude that she claimed she didn't know, and of course you didn't know, came in there robbed you for everything you had, and nobody know anything. She playing like she's afraid, you know, but in reality, everything was planned. Everybody knows what's going on except for you. So now they get you for your money, your jewelry, maybe your car, maybe your clothes or whatever you got. So she leaves and go back home. She's terrified. That's how she's acting anyway. And now you gotta leave and go back home or wherever you came from. And you probably afraid to call the police because y'all doing some illegal activity. Well, you can't call the police if you're doing some illegal shit already. That shit gonna work. I mean, usually the police get called if there's some type of, you know, somebody gets unalived or some bullets is flying or some type of violence. That's when the police usually get called. But if nobody gets unalived, everybody just kind of move on and just make it seem like nothing happened. But the whole thing was an inside job the whole time. And she set you up. Your good old girl that claimed that she was in an open relationship, open marriage, or she had a boyfriend. He set you up the whole time. Took all your money you had in your pocket, took your credit cards, took your jewelry, might even took your car. Depending on depending on what state you live in. And depending on what kind of car you got too. Or she might have set you up to get your house robbed or your apartment robbed. Y'all might have went out of town one weekend, and as soon as you got back, the door unlocked. You walk inside, they took everything that they wanted to. And you could tell they took their time too. They took your jewelry, took all your money you had in your house, or took anything of value. And she's acting like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You've been robbed. And that old bitch set you up. You know, she set you up the whole time. These type of scenarios happen a lot. This is why you gotta watch the company that you keep. There's a lot of wolves out here. A lot of wolves in sheep's clothing out here. There's a lot of cutthroat motherfuckers out here, boy. I'm telling you. Cutthroat. Ooh, wait. Wait, now. Cutthroat. Cut the whole city. Cutthroat. Yo, smash the like button. There's a lot of cutthroat people out here, man. Cold blooded. Like, the game is raggedy out here anyway. The game is raggedy out here today. So you gotta have some street smarts out here. But look, you can I kind of came up with my own methodology to understanding what type of person I'm dealing with. I can kind of tell what type of person I'm dealing with within 5 to 10 minutes after talking to them. 5 to 10 minutes, I can tell what type of person I'm dealing with. Yeah, because it's like, and I wrote about this. I wrote about this. I got a new book coming out. Uh, probably March next month. I got a new book coming out, and I'm gonna talk about my experiences meeting people online. And P.S. and by the way, this is gonna be the last book on this type of subject that I'm gonna be writing. This is gonna be everything that I've ever experienced, everything that I've ever done online as far as meeting people. This is gonna be the grand finale. This is gonna be the shit. It don't get no better than what I'm gonna be releasing next month when it comes to this game. I'm talking about shit that I haven't seen written nowhere. I haven't seen written nowhere. You know, and I've been living long enough to figure out a lot of this shit. And I didn't have nobody to really talk to about it. Because they haven't done it. They didn't have the experience. And I think the worst part about meeting people online, no one can really show you how to do it if they haven't done it before. Because you got to think about it like this. Like 15 years ago, there was no books on meeting people online. There wasn't no books. Nobody was writing none of that shit 15 years ago. It didn't exist. Yeah, you had the broad books about just relationships in general. But nobody was talking about meeting people online because it was so taboo. So you had sites like Match.com, PlentyOfFish.com, Black Planet, all these websites available, but nobody was writing about it. Nobody was writing about it. And, you know, I've met, at this point, I've met people from all over the world online. I've met every type of woman online. And I'm not saying that shit to brag, but that's just a reality. That's just my reality. And once I look back on it, a lot of those people I met online were a totally waste of time. It's a waste of time meeting most of these people online. I can't get the time back. You know what I'm saying? But I had to go through this shit. Well, at least I didn't have to do it, but I went through this shit at a time when there were no books. There were nobody for me to get advice from. There was nobody for me to get advice from. What's up, Rachel? There was nobody for me to get advice from at the time. So I basically wrote this book, this upcoming book. This is a book I wish I had 15 years ago. This is a book that I wish I had 15 years ago that I'm going to be releasing next month. And still to this day, if you go on Amazon or Barnes and Noble, you're not going to see a lot of books talking about online dating, really. It's kind of like they say little broad shit. You know, they don't talk about the stuff that I talk about. They don't talk about how you can get scammed, ripped off, unalived if you aren't careful. They don't talk about the underworld like I talk about. They don't. And this is pretty common in all areas of activity. They don't talk about the underworld in no area of activity. Whether it's finance, whether it's on your job, like let's take your job for example. On your job, you have written rules and unwritten rules. Nobody talks about the unwritten rules on your job. Nobody talks about it. And this applies to all areas of every area of activity. There's written rules and there's unwritten rules. And if you break those unwritten rules, you're gonna have to deal with some type of consequences. More than likely, you're gonna have to handle it the best way as possible. That's usually how that is. Now, every once in a while in society, you will hear some old crazy shit that somebody will say, like Trump, for example. You're president. Yeah. Like Trump will say some old wild shit every once in a while. When he speaks, he's talking from what happens behind the scenes for the most part. But a lot of people on the surface, they're not ready to hear what happens behind the scenes. So when I hear Trump say some shit, to me, yeah, he crazy as cat shit, yeah. But he ain't catching me off guard because I know what happens behind the scenes. Just like I understand what happens behind the scenes online. Like I said, there's rules, there's written rules, and there's unwritten rules. Just like on the web, there's there's the regular web and there's the dark web. Now on the dark web, you see all kinds of crazy shit. You see shit that you be like, it'll blow your fucking mind if you're not ready for it. I understand that. I mean, it wouldn't blow my mind because I already know what's there in advance. But the average person probably wouldn't be able to take a lot of that stuff they would see on the dark web. And I'm saying all areas of life is it's the same thing, damn near. I can't tell you any area of life that I've been that it wasn't some type of dark side or something that taboo that don't get talked about. That exists in all areas of activity. That's just how it is. This is why you got to watch the company that you keep. Now, I'm not saying you should keep people around you that just don't like talking about certain things. No, I'm not talking like, no. It's okay to talk about stuff, but just don't act like it doesn't exist. That's all I'm saying. Or have people around you that act dumb. They are slow, act like they don't know what the hell going on. No, I'm not talking about that. I don't want people around me that act dumb. Like, oh, I don't know. That type of stuff doesn't exist. No, not dumb type of people. Act dumb and slow, like they don't know what's going on. No, no, I'm afraid to be around people like that. But you have to know your people. You have to know how far to go with everybody. Everybody can't go you can't take everybody everywhere. You can't take everybody everywhere. You have to know your people. You have to know what they would do, what they wouldn't do. This is why it takes time to get to know people. And everything is not for everybody. Everybody not built for certain things. Everybody not built for certain things. Just like I don't expect. Let's say you got a girl, a woman that you hang out with. Every woman ain't built to throw blows. Every woman ain't built to throw blows. I don't expect a woman to throw blows. I don't expect it. If you was to get into something, you know what I'm saying? I just don't expect a woman to get down like that. It happens, but I don't expect it for her to get down and dirty if shit go left. You know what I'm saying? You know. Now, if you're on the West Coast, it's a little bit different. It might pull out on you. You know. You just have to know your people. You have to know what they're capable of. You know, everybody ain't built the same. When some people, if shit go left, some people will panic. They'll panic. They'll lose it. They'll start yelling and screaming, and you know. Some people, they'll get a phone call, they'll start to panic. A phone call from a creditor, they'll panic. You know, everybody not built the same. Everybody not raised the same. Yeah, a lot of guys, especially, if they do one thing with a woman, they want to do it with all of them that they come in contact with. Well, every woman ain't for everything. If some guys go too far, you know, with women sometimes. They'll be like, "Oh, I want to have a threesome." She didn't want to do it. Well, maybe a threesome ain't for everybody, bro. It's not for her, and maybe she ain't into women like that. That's the thing. A threesome usually works best if the girl likes women more than you. That's pretty much usually works best that way. But if she likes men more than women, that's probably not gonna work that well. But every woman ain't gonna have every woman. Some women don't want to be close to another woman like that. They get uncomfortable. You know. Now I know we're in a day and time where women are close to women, but that's kind of a new thing. Unless well these other groups of women they've been doing that shit. But when I was growing up, I didn't see a lot of women close together like that. A lot of women didn't. Women were close to their man more than anything. They ain't really close to other women like that. There wasn't no girl trip. That old weirdo. You know, the only people that had girl trips were hoes. Hoes went on trips together in groups when I was growing up. Then today you have shit, man. Girls ain't got to be a hoe to go on a girl trip today. See, that's some weirdo shit. And people, a lot of these girls like the dogs. Well, girls and guys, they don't like the dogs and the pets more than people today. What type of weirdo shit is that? That's weirdo shit, man. I mean, if you like the pets, you like your dog or your cat more than anything, how you gonna make room for a person, man or woman? There's just a lot of weirdo shit going on out here. You gotta look at it like this. At least I look at it like this. every day I look at it like, am I doing, is this going to help me to become a better me, a better man, a better friend? Is this going to help me get better or worse? And I don't care how much it costs either. I don't care how much it costs. If I have to buy something that helps me get better, I don't care how much it costs. If I can afford to buy it, I will. If I can afford to do it, I will. But it has to help me get better as a person, as a man. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. Now, there's some things like a threesome, for example. I can go without. I don't have to have that. That's not like something that's that's not something that gets me excited. You know, they say you don't knock it till you try it. I tried it. I didn't really like it that much. So you can't say that. you know, but you just have to watch the company that you keep out here, man. Everything is not for everybody, and just because you can do something, that don't mean you should try it. Sometimes it's best to just leave things alone and just let it be. I've learned that the simple things in life usually works out best and it lasts longer. The most complicated things, it usually doesn't last long. Yeah. I mean, I look at it like this. Life is already complicated as it is. So why make things even more complicated? Fuck, just being black is complicated in this world. So why would I want to make things even more complicated? So in other words, I try not to make a lot of mistakes. I try not to make the situations worse. I don't get high. No drugs, no no drinking. Okay, if you want to drink some wine, okay, knock yourself out. But try not to get drunk. Try not to get drunk. No drugs. Just say no. Just say no. you know, just say no. Smash the like button. Just say no. It doesn't help. It doesn't, being high doesn't help you get better at all. There's no, and try to be healthy as possible. And try not to get fat. If you're overweight, um, you got a big belly, lose the belly. There's no benefit to being fat and overweight, especially if you're a woman. If you're a woman and if you're fat, you're gonna get treated very badly in America. If you're a woman and if you're fat in America, you get treated like a guy would in America. You ain't gonna get no breaks, no hookups, and you're gonna have to work your ass off if you're fat. That's just reality. But why make it worse? Just lose the weight. Lose the weight, you feel better, look better, everything will be better. Life will be better if you're not fat. Go down to your regular body weight. You know? And you're doing better health. I had a buddy that used to be fat. And he said he'd been fat and he'd been skinny. But he said, man, he said when he got fat, boy, shit changed. He said, man, he been fat and skinny, boy. He said he be skinny any day than getting fat. Boy, he said when he got fat, boy, shit changed, boy. His whole body changed. Whole situation changed. His whole life changed once he got fat. But when he went back to being slim, he said, oh boy, yeah, this is much better. Yeah. So think about how women go through being fat. They get treated worse than guys. No hookups, because women get hookups. Like if the better a woman looks, they get hookups. They get promoted on the job. People get more attention. That's just what it is. But if she's fat, you ain't gonna get no hookups. A lot of guys don't want to take her serious. They might smash, but they don't take her serious like that. I'm just saying, why make things more difficult? Life is already difficult as it is. So just try to keep things simple in your life. Trust me, the simpler the better. Less is more. Less is more. What's the difference between jam and jelly? Oh man, you trolling. Yeah. Less is more. Yeah, less is more, man. In my world, I say less. And I try to keep things simple. And you gotta use your own mind. Stop trying to let people talk you into doing things. Like somebody asked me the other day, if anybody ever influenced me to do anything, right? I'm like, no. Nobody influences me to do anything. I influence other people to do shit. What are you talking about? I do the influencing. I do what I want to do. Nobody influences me to do anything. I don't know who I am. Nobody influences me to do anything. I do it with influencing. He was like, man, a woman ever influenced you to get high and drink? No, I do it influencing. I'm the one who told them to try it. Shit, what are you talking about? I'm the one that influenced men and women. Sometimes it was bad influence, sometimes it was good. But no, nobody ever influenced me to do anything. Yeah, that's how I've been like this. The way I am today, I've been like this since I was a teenager, since I was 17. Nobody ever influenced me to do anything or forced me to do anything or pressured me to do anything. No. I made my mind up to do it, whatever it was. And that was that. That was that. And I never really cared enough about what people would say about me to influence me and make. What people say about me is not going to help me make a decision on what I want to do. No. That's never happened before. How I feel about myself is much more important than what other people think about me. This is my life. So I gotta make decisions that's best for me. That's how I always look at it. But I understand a lot of people are not like that. A lot of people don't think like that. And see, I always look at it like this. Once you, and I wrote about this in my book, Love Can't Wait. Once you learn the game, you play the game, and then you become the game. I'm going to say that one more time. Once you learn the game, you play the game, and you become the game. But here's where a lot of people get lost at. Once they learn the game, and they say, well, you play the game, right? The problem with that is they start playing the game and they get lost and confused. And they start playing somebody else's game. And that's why they don't win. They lose. You're supposed to learn the game, understand how it goes, and then you create your own game for you to win. Some people get distracted and, they start doing things that's not in their best interest. That's a mistake that I'm going to say most people make. They start getting high and start drinking and start engaging in too much of their quote quote vices. I never really bought into that shit, but whatever. Too much of anything is never good. Remember, the simple things in life usually works out best. I always remember that. Because some people think, oh, it can't be that simple. Yes, it is. It can be. It's the simple things. Yeah, it ain't complicated. Losing weight is not complicated. Stop drinking and smoking is not complicated. It's not complicated. It's not. People make things complicated. Relationships is not complicated. People make it complicated. Because people have too many bad habits. That's why they have too many bad habits and they don't believe in themselves. And they have low self-esteem. But it's not really complicated. Look, I used to drink. I stopped drinking cold turkey. I used to smoke. I stopped smoking cold turkey. I ain't had to go to no rehab, none of that old weirdo shit. You go to the damn AA. I am an alcoholic. Get up out of here. Come on, man. That's some silly shit. Come on, man. That's some silly shit. I'm an alcoholic. I ain't had to go to none of that bullshit. I just woke up one day and said, hey, I don't want to do this shit no more. That's it. I stopped smoking and drinking. 2 different times. Same year, back to back. I ain't had to go no. I don't need no help to do that shit. Mine doesn't matter. I'm not the most disciplined person in the world, but I got enough fucking sense to know that I can't keep drinking and smoking forever. If I want to live a much productive, long-lasting life, you don't gotta be a doctor to know that. You don't gotta be a genius to know that. I'm a practical thinking guy. That's it. You don't gotta be a doctor to learn how to stop drinking. It's just a damn decision that you make. You don't gotta be a doctor to figure out how to lose weight. It's your damn body. Shit, the damn doctor you going to, he don't know that much your body. That's why when you go in there you gotta ask questions. Shit, he don't know. He just guessing, basically. Process of elimination. Nobody knows your body as much as you. You live in your body. So how the hell would someone else know more than you? You don't got no working to figure that shit out. Come on, man. You gotta take more responsibility for your life. You can't. Nobody ever gonna care about your life, your health, more than you. I don't give a damn. Your mama, your daddy, the doctor, or whoever. The school teacher, it don't matter. You gotta take. I think all of us we need to take more control of our lives as much as possible. Stop waiting around for people to do stuff for you all the time. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. And if they do come, they ain't gonna care as much as you. That's never gonna happen. Nobody you meet, I don't give a damn where she's from. I don't care what language she speaks, what country she's from, her culture, whatever you want to call it. She ain't gonna care as much as you either, regardless of how much you think she might like you. It's still your life. It's still your life. And if you don't care about your life, she won't either. She won't either. And I don't care where she's from. I don't care how much you like her or how much she claims she likes you. At the end of the day, it's really on you. It's your life. It's really on you. Nobody's coming to save you. Jesus Christ, whatever. Nobody's coming to save you, man. If you don't figure it out, if you don't seek out help, if you don't start meeting people, it's nothing's gonna change. If you don't change your habits, start meeting people, nothing's gonna change. You're gonna look up 5, 10 years, 20 years, gonna go by like a fucking fan. You be like, oh, god damn. And you're gonna be sitting around like you getting old and older. And you're gonna have regrets. A lot of people have regrets when they get older. We know people that's like, yeah, you got these old hoes. You know what I'm talking about. You got them old hoes walking around here. These old dudes walking around here. They 55, 65 years old. These old hoes have regrets. They done ran through all the dudes when they were younger. And they ain't got nobody around. Them old hoes. We know people, we know women, we know females that's like that. They might be 65, 70 years old. They done ran off everybody. And then you got these old dudes, they ain't worth a damn. A lot of them ain't worth a damn. Look, I say this before. Old people today ain't shit. Old people today ain't shit, man. And when I say old people, I'm talking about from the age of, I'm going to say 57 to 60, no, 57 to 70 years old. 57 to 70 years old, that age bracket, they ain't worth a damn. Most of them. They're a bunch of selfish bastards. Between the age of 57 and 70 years old. They're a bunch of selfish bastards, man. Look at the kids they raise. They're the main one complaining about, oh, the kids ain't doing this. Well, you raised them. Shit. Old people today ain't shit, man. I don't even listen to them. If they ain't over the age of 70, I don't even take them serious. I don't even take them serious. If you talk to them, they just want you to give up. And if most of them people that's in that age bracket, 57 to 70, most of them are just finding ways to entertain themselves. They go to the resort, go to the beach, take a drive on the weekend somewhere, hang around the grandkids, or some just stay home all the damn time, eating, picking up bad new habits. And a bunch of them hang with the grandkids on the weekend. They ain't got nothing else to do. Because nobody want to be around them. Because they done ran everybody away. Nobody want to be around them. Um, they're not really nice to be around. They're not a pleasure to be around. They're not at all, most of them. But they done picked up too many bad habits and made too many bad decisions. And they done had them old badass kids that they done raised up. And then them badass kids done had their own kids. Now they got grandkids. So so a lot of these old people feel bad. They have they have like buyer's remorse based on the decisions that they made. Because when they were growing up, they went to college. Maybe they went to HBCU college and they had a good cushy job and the prices were way low for cars, clothes, houses, and they had a good government job and all that shit. The prices were way low for them. They had it made. They grew up in a good time, right? And they were getting high and drunk all the goddamn time on the weekends. A lot of them partied a lot, partied too much. They neglected the kids. Some of them got divorced. A lot of them are sick, popping pills and all that shit today. If you go to their house, go to the bathroom, open the damn cabinet. You see all bunch of pills in that motherfucker. Blood pressure pills and anxiety pills and all kinds of shit. Yeah, these are most selfish bastards. From that age of 57 to 70. Some of us have aunties. We have aunts and uncles in that age range. And brothers. So you know what I'm talking about. Them some old selfish bastards. They dropped the ball. They left us hanging out here. And they left the young kids hanging out here too. That's why a lot of young kids um in the early 20s, they like me because I tell the truth. Because they know their parents lied to them. Their parents didn't really leave shit for them. They didn't tell them what's the real deal going on out here. That's why I still write books. And that's why I still have websites up. Because the books I'm writing are the books that I wish I had when I was younger. Because the reality is your parents can't teach you what they don't know. They can't show you everything. They can only give you the basics. But you have a lot of these old selfish bastards, parents today, from like I said, from the age of 57 to 70, they didn't tell their kids shit. They let them go out in the blind. Selfish bastards. A lot of us have aunts and uncles like that. I got mine, you get yours. That type of attitude that they got. They raise the kids, don't tell the kids shit. And as soon as the kid get in trouble, now that's when they come in. Well, you stay out of trouble. But yeah, you didn't teach him shit. Stay out of trouble and do what? What the hell you want him to do? He's just trying to survive out in the streets. He's trying to get some money. He don't know how he don't know no other way. You ain't taught him shit. What do you want him to do? Stay broke? Be starving? Can't stay in your house. You talk too much shit. How you gonna talk shit to your sons, or your daughters, and you didn't teach them shit? And you mad because they won't move out? Can't move out with no money. Shit. The rent is high as shit out here, especially if you live in New York, L.A., Chicago, Atlanta, these major cities. Shit. You want them to move out, but you ain't teach them shit. Come on, man. What part of the game is that? Well, hey, man. So I got a new book coming out next month. End of next month, hopefully. I should be done editing and everything. So hey, smash the like button, like, share. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.